Hi everybody, my name is Elise Corbett. I graduated from Camden Catholic in 2013. Then I went on to LaSalle University in Philadelphia. I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Communication and a minor in Leadership and Understanding in 2017. So we've been asked to talk to you a little bit about some of our background and how CCHS prepared us for the future, how we discovered our career path, and I have to admit that it feels a little weird to be speaking to you through a screen without seeing any reactions to tell if I am completely boring you or interesting you or anywhere in between. So with that being said, I hope I am able to maybe spark some interest in a few of you or give you an excuse to take 5 minutes out of your day to not have to focus on homework or anything. And I look forward to the day where we can all be together again and speak in person. So I would say that Camden Catholic prepared me for the future in that it gave me an opportunity to really dive into anything that I wanted to. Whether that be in leadership positions in any academic roles or on sports teams or the arts. Anything that I wanted to do, I could do at Camden Catholic, which I think has prepared me for the future because I think you all will see that when you go on to school, when you go on to college rather, it becomes really individualized, which can be kind of daunting in some respects because your whole life you've, for the most part, followed the same path as your peers. So it almost becomes a little bit more daunting as you get to pick your own path. It's definitely exciting, but it's a new experience. However, I found that it was a little bit less daunting for me because at Camden Catholic, like I said, you can choose your own path and it's not so prescriptive. And I think people and employers, when you get out in the real world, are looking for people who have different backgrounds and multiple areas of interest. And they're not just focused on all work all the time, but see that you're an actual person with well-rounded interests or hobbies or what have you. And so I think, a lot of students at CCHS kind of carry that persona with them of just being able to dive into whatever, whenever. And so what I do now is I work at a small public relations communications firm in Center City, Philadelphia. It's called Seisler Media and Issue Advocacy. And we are a little bit of a niche PR firm in the sense that a lot of other firms typically work with companies to publicize either products or services. And a lot of what we do is we work through specific issues with our clients. So whether that be trying to enact more clean energy policies in the state of Pennsylvania, or perhaps get a new contract for a minority-owned business, or talk about how a certain company is trying to promote internet access and affordability for more residents all across the city as well as the country. So we really help clients, whether they be large Fortune 500 companies, a coalition of various organizations, or small nonprofits, figure out the issue that's important to them and the cause that's important to them, and figure out a way to simply communicate it to the audiences that they want to influence. So I got here by studying communications at LaSalle, and I tracked in public relations. And I discovered that I wanted to major in comms when I was actually taking Mr. Bruckner's college prep course my sophomore year at Camden Catholic. We took one of those tests, which asked you your different levels of interest and skills and gave you some ideas of careers that you could pursue. And public relations was one of mine, and I didn't really know anything about it, but when I looked into it, I learned that a lot of it had to do with writing. It seems like a lot of people, when they think of PR, they just think of spin or they think of managing famous people. But that's really not the case. One of the major things you need to do to be a good public relations practitioner is to be a really, really good writer. I noticed at LaSalle a lot of times people didn't always realize that. So, I think before you pick a major, you pick a career path, really do some research into what that may entail. And if you're finding that a huge part of whatever career you think you want to go into isn't something that you're super passionate about, or it might not be your strongest suit, I would say maybe look into other areas, because I definitely had a lot of friends who I sat next to in class who would always complain about the amount of writing that we maybe had to do, which I loved because that always came naturally to me. I loved all my English classes at Camden Catholic. So I would definitely advise you researching whatever you want to do, and figuring out what are some key components to really being good in that field that you want to go into. And then just for a little bit more background, like I said, went straight from Camden Catholic to LaSalle, majored in comm, but I also minored in leadership and global understanding, which is a very specific minor at LaSalle. But essentially what it does is it looks at a host of different issues on a global basis, and each semester you learn about a specific country or region, an issue specific to that country or region, and then you go there during spring break. So when I was at LaSalle, I was able to go to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, as well as India. I also studied abroad in Ireland. So those experiences really helped round out my academic experience. And then during my senior year at LaSalle, I started looking for jobs, and a LaSalle alum had shared an opening at her firm, Sisler Media. I'd never heard of it. I hadn't spoken to this alum in a few years, but I'd met her a few times before, connected with her. And when I looked into the firm, I realized that it had all of my interests. Clearly, it was a communications firm, and that's what I was focusing on. But like I said, since we also focus on kind of more complicated, nuanced issues that relate to people at all different stages of life in terms of like low income folks, issues that are specific to perhaps minority populations. I really thought that it was a good fit for me, so I applied, and I also reached out to the LaSalle alum who had listed the opening. So I think, knowing her helped me get through the door. And so I've been at Sisler Media since July of 2017. I started as an associate, and I'm now a senior associate leading different clients. And I'm still really having a great time. A lot of folks right now I know are going through tough times in terms of employment. So I feel very fortunate that I am in an industry that is still very much in need. I'm really busy still every single day, working long hours, helping clients talk about what they're doing in response to COVID, both externally to media, as well as internally to their employees and stakeholders. And so just helping them, like I said before, simplify their message and get it across in the most effective manner. So that is my career story, essentially. I just, want to leave you guys with hopefully some words of encouragement. I know this is a very difficult time. It's definitely unprecedented. When I was entering Camden Catholic, we were going through the 2008 financial crisis. So I remember being younger and going through, kind of turbulent times. But it always gets better. And, as you leave Camden Catholic officially, you will never truly leave this family. I still have some of my best friends from Camden Catholic that I talk to every single day. So if ever you're unsure about anything or need advice from somebody, feel free to lean on alumni, whether they're your close friends or someone you sort of knew from one of these career experiences. We're always here for each other, and things will get better. So thanks. Bye-bye.